And we're back, everyone. Back for the Open Tour Benelux. We've been away for about an hour, but we're here.
Ages.
It felt like ages for Jack. It's for the round of 16 that we're gonna do now. It's gonna be a best of 3 between 7am Academy and KVM Mechelen Academy, and we're still hype shoutcasting. Jack, are you feeling it?
I feel that we are indeed still hype shoutcasting. Good feeling.
Good.
Good feeling. Feeling. 7am versus KVM Esports Academy. Should be a good one. KVM went 3-0 in their group. 7am went 2-1, losing the last game versus Thrill, of course, who looked really, really strong. And this is going to be the round of 16. Should be a best of 3. And we'll see what KVM has to offer. We did some casting for them last Open Tour. They had some changes in their roster. It's going to be pretty cool to see what they've come up with this time around.
I do see a familiar face on there, Mortar, who we of course saw making some incredible plays on his Wukong in the last Open Tour split. So I believe that is one of the important bans for 7am to take into account. And besides that, we have of course 2 familiar faces for 7am. We have Nomis and Henk, who played on their main roster for 7am in the Belgian League. So it's gonna be a little bit of a reunion for 7am here on the Rift.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of familiar faces for us, for them, for you guys at home. Of course, we're at home as well, but I mean, for you guys watching. So that's gonna be fun to see. If the games are rigged or not. 7am, don't do it.
I haven't placed any bets. Did you?
Did you? We've seen Mortar, of course, last split in the Open Tour do some very nice stuff with the Wukong, for example. Still yet to see his Jax, I believe. I don't think he pulled that one out of the hat last split.
No,
if I'm not mistaken.
It's one of his best, and we always saw it banned or just didn't feel like picking it. Maybe it's more for solo queue games, but Jax, haven't seen it. Maybe today. It's a best of 3. Everything can happen.
Might be seeing it today. That's very true. They're gonna be drafting in I don't know, is it 3 or so minutes? They'll start the draft. They're still doing some preparations. Ban-wise, pick-wise, the most obvious thing for me, or what I believe to be obvious and will probably not happen because I suck, is the Zoe ban towards Henk in the first rotation. I don't think they're going to let that go through on the side of 7am. They'll just take that out immediately and say, no Henk, don't.
Yeah, it's a big flavor pick for him. He loves to play the champion, is so good at it as well. And I said, Mortar is a familiar face for us, but of course, the Eye of Gold, which is the name here, but most people will probably know him as Bisco, has also been playing for KVM Mechelen Academy in the last split. We saw him as a very heavy engage guy who made some great plays on the Nautilus, I believe. Was depending on the week. One week he only played Leona, then he played Nautilus. So definitely gonna play one of those champions. So if 7am want to anticipate on that bot lane, you know guaranteed that he's gonna play one of those tanky engage support. But it's not really special because it's so meta these days. That being said, they did play against Yumi today. So.
That's true. They played against Yumi.
I wanted to say Seraphine as well, but that was the carry. Alistar was the support.
Yeah, that's a bit of a different situation. Of course, you saw the Veigar.
Veigar, it's the pronunciation, I think, because he says it himself. So I guess he knows how to say his name. But I always make the same mistake. So
Veigar in the bottom lane is what we saw today. So It's a big, interesting one to see as well. 1 more minute, sorry, before the draft starts. Are there any other crazy shenanigans that we can expect here from either side? I mean, from 7 a.m., probably not any crazier than we've seen so far. We've seen them play 3 games already. Anything on the side of KVM?
Well, we of course have the Lilia, who is in the pool for Nomis. Lilia being so strong as well, but not picked that much. He has lost a little bit of popularity since the changes this season, but she can still carry. She has that great engage potential, the continuous damage, true damage. It is there, but I believe there will be a fight over the Hecarim. They both played Nomis and Obi, and of course last season around, KVM Mechelen Academy played around the Hecarim of Ollie as well. So they really know that the champion works within their comfort zone. So I believe we will see it banned or picked very, very early in the draft.
And we'll see if it is indeed going to be the case as the draft has begun-stirred once again. Thresh being taken away, and as expected, 7 a.m. taking out that Zoe. Not going to be able to be allowed to be played by Henk Henkerson here, as Karma and Varus get taken away. Viego is last ban for KVM, and Tristana getting taken away as well from the likes of KVM. And it's going to be interesting to see which AD carry support and jungler will be picked up here, as it's going to be Ezreal and then Gwen Lucian picking up really quickly.
The high prio on the Gwen for 7 a.m. this time around. They played against it, they won against it, and they're gonna pick it up themselves this time. And maybe for some people wondering, why is the new Mundo not being picked or banned or anything? Mundo is disqualified for this week's Open Tour, so players are not allowed to use a champion. Hecarim picked up as expected. KVM Mechelen takes it for themselves. Means that Obi will not be able to gallop in the rift with that horse himself. Maybe he picks up Lilia if he wants to gallop himself, but I don't think that is a champion that he has a lot of comfort on.
Hecarim, as spoken of before, is going to be picked up as the jungler for KVM, followed up by Orianna, something that we could have expected as well if Zoe gets banned away. Orianna is close to the second comfort pick for Henk, as it is going to be picked up. Goes well, of course, with the Ezreal, with Hecarim as well, with the ult combinations, a little bit of shielding, a little bit of move speed for Hecarim as well. As once again, 7 a.m. targeting that Silence, picking it up as well this time around.
And they are choosing the Silas here. Side of 7 a.m. Academy had a great game on him in the Diana matchup, I believe, earlier today. So definitely knows what he has to do on this champion. Last bans are gonna come out, probably oriented at the top lane for KVM Mechelen.
Wukong ban maybe?
The Wukong ban is, in my opinion, almost a guaranteed one that you need to do, or maybe they want to see the Wukong because they know how Gwen plays against it. Not sure, but you're almost
leaving Wukong.
Yeah, you're almost sure that they're gonna pick it.
Yeah, leaving Wukong open here. Mortar really likes to play him and plays him really well, and then combined, of course, with the Orianna, you have a ball delivery system in there as well. Of course, you have it with Hecarim as well. It's a bit different. They're hovering a Braum ban. Bisco does play Braum. Not really the best combination. Actually, with Ezreal, he's pretty okay because of the Mystic Shot proccing it as well. And it does get taken away. That does mean that Wukong is open. So, yeah, maybe 7 a.m. has a plan.
Jax is open. Jax is actually not that bad versus Gwen because she's really on hit reliant. So, with the dodge, might be possibilities for Mortar to pick it here.
True. could be coming through with the Jax. The last ban for KVM should be coming through within the next few seconds. I hope they're not going to forget anything, and they do take away Alistair. So that's taking that away from 7 a.m. They saw it. Sorry, have they seen it? No, they haven't seen it. And now pick from 7 a.m. the Nautilus, banning it away, but picking it. That would leave Leona, for example, for Bisco, as Brom and Alistair are.
Leona banned.
Then I am not saying anything.
Blitzcrank is basically open for him. They've been so many supports. Bisco, his whole champion pool down the drain. Of course, he is such a versatile support. He'll find something, and Blitzcrank is a possibility. However, who are you really gonna hook here? Lucian can dash, Gwen just push the field down.
He returned.
And it's the Yoomster. Yoomster is getting locked in. The Meow Meow versus the Snip Snip in this game.
Not yet. Not yet locked in.
It is locked. No?
Oh, then it's still counting down on my screen.
Or am I seeing bugs?
You might be seeing bugs. I might be seeing bugs. Anyways, on my screen, they're still counting down for KVM Academy. Yumi still has the blue bar or whatever it's called. I can see it on your screen as well, so it hasn't been locked in yet.
Yeah, it's locked. It's the one below that's has the. It's okay.
My bad.
I forgive you.
Thanks. Anyways, it is going to be Wukong. Yeah, very expected, of course, for it to come through. Combined with the Orianna, they just have a real strong team fighting composition on the side of KVM. They have the engaged with Wukong and Hecarim. They have a follow-up with Yumi, Ezreal, and Orianna, who can all just pile up on top of the engage. And of course, with the Sylas, they can steal some nice ults. They have the True Shot Barrage they can take out, Onslaught of Shadows, Cyclone from Wukong. Quick question. I have no idea about this, but if Sylas steals Wukong ult, can he ult twice as well? I'm assuming he can.
Yes, it does the same thing. Of course, he has less effectiveness because he does not have a clone, which he can duplicate his ult basically. So the Wukong ult, it's still a good ult to take, but not as good as it is on Wukong. Let's say it like that. Like with a lot of other champions, Sylas improves the ultimate because he gets that AP scaling on any ultimate that he steals, which often empowers an ult for him that is not as strong on the other champion. But in Wukong's case, that's not how it goes.
What about Hecarim? Onslaught of Shadows? Does that scale with...
Yeah, everything that Sylas steals gets AP scaling, like Caitlyn ult, for example, is flat AD scaling, but we don't know that.
Scales with his... scales with his AP. Yeah, of course. Makes sense.
So that makes a lot of ults interesting on him. So like having a full AP Leona on your team when you solar flare it, or something like that. But
basically, he's gonna want to steal Onslaught of Shadows.
Yeah, or True Shot Barrage, full AP Ezreal. He has good ults to steal here, AoE ultimates, because they're fighting a heavy wombo combo team fight comp, which are the ults that Sylas loves. He wants to take those. But they themselves do not really have that same combo. They have good peel back against an engage with the Xayah, who is, in my opinion, probably the best AD carry to negate an engage on you, just because you have that invulnerability on your ultimate. And of course Gwen has the same thing with her shield. So there are options, but it is very clear that KVM Mechelen just wants to go ham, engage, and kill them all at once.
Yes, KVM drafting the team fighting composition, or at least the easier team fighting composition in this case, with every piling on ability that they have on top of the engage that they have as well. On the side of 7 a.m. they have pick potential with the Nautilus, finding a hook, finding the depth charge, of course, which is just basically a click on you get screwed ability. Of course, it's going to be difficult to find the correct target for him. Ezra can jump back. Orianna has the shield, and if you jump on top of her, she can Zhonya's or even Shockwave herself, which is going to make it difficult to actually take her down. It's going to be... they have to pick the right target at the right time on the side of 7 a.m. I feel like KVM Academy drafted a bit more of an easier composition to pull off.
Yeah, and it is a composition that 7 a.m. actually played against already today. especially when I look at that Ezreal Yumi. I thought the hype about this bot lane was over, but apparently it is an open tour flavor pick for these teams. Like I remember last year, there was an open tour that all the teams always picked Jinx. There were always Jinx, and in pro play she wasn't being played in any game. And this time we see Ezreal Yumi for the second time, and they struggled against it. Slide in DM, he was super strong.
Second time in forever.
And we'll see if they can get the right engage on him this time. They do have the Nautilus, who can just click on him. So maybe they can lock him down more efficiently this time.
As the teams have started the game more or less, or at least they're in loading screen, we still have the 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go for the 3-minute delay, of course. Nothing we can really do about that. Both teams, their draft is over. Bottom lane, Ezreal Yumi versus Xayah Nautilus. Ezreal Yumi, it has been called boring here in chat, which isn't necessarily untrue. Versus Xayah Nautilus. Xayah wants to scale as well into the late game, really strong later on into the game. What are we expecting in this matchup? Is it going to be boring? Is it going to be farming? Or are we going to see fights?
It's going to be a lot of farming, but of course you do have, in the bot lane, you have that Nautilus engage. If he gets a hook on the right target, they can do something. They have a lot of chaining potential. You have the hook into the passive for Nautilus, into the snare of Xayah. So it doesn't matter that Ezreal has the Arcane Shift. If he gets hit, or if Yumi gets hit, that is an even more hopeless scenario, because doesn't run the flash, can't go onto his ally if Yumi gets snared or hard CC'd, then you gotta kill. So Dredgeline is the skill to watch there. Can Adam find the targets? If it does, there is so much kill potential in that lane.
There are some possibilities. Then, of course, we have the top lane, Wukong. We've spoken about it before the game. We talked about it during draft. We talked about the fact that maybe 7am should have banned it because of Mortar's strong performances in the past on that champion, and because of the possibilities and combination with Orianna, ball delivery system, become invisible, find the flank, Cyclone, double Cyclone with the Shockwave as well. Into the Sylas, as it looks like we have a Gwen jungle, by the way, which we haven't seen before. We'll touch on that a little later, but Wukong Sylas, what are we saying?
Sylas is a champion that likes to trade in lane because he has good sustain. He can go for those short trades with his passive, just weaving those auto attacks in between his skills. And afterwards he can just heal back up again with the Kingslayer. So this is actually a fair matchup for Sylas. But Wukong can go for the all-in. He, of course, has the stronger auto attacks in the matchup, while Sylas works around his cooldown. So if he gets a good all-in, he can win. But I feel like this is the Sylas favorite matchup. That being said, I'm not sure, but we did, of course, a prep for KVM Mechelen Academy. We see here in the bot lane that the names are Bot Kingdom and KVM Super Farter, which is such a flattering name as well. Very but much. I do think it's Tedace and Bisco that are playing here. But it would be nice to get some confirmation from someone from KVM Mechelen or anyone that it is in fact Tedace and Bisco that are playing. Then we don't say the wrong names whole game long, and then we give credit to Bot Kingdom and KVM Super Farter, whoever they might be.
I think it should be, unless they threw in some subs in the meantime, but I don't think they did. Maybe they did. I don't know. Not 100% sure. As we are in the loading screen, we don't really see any crazy runes coming through. It all seems fairly normal, fairly standard. Yeah, it should be an interesting game to see Gwen jungle as well for the first time.
Yeah, experimented myself with Gwen jungle once. I'm
Good.
a horrible jungler, so my experience is not relevant here, but I did find she had an okay clear. She has a lot of attack speed that she gets from her E, from her dash. She has AoE ability. She can do something there in the jungle. So we'll see if she can outclear Hecarim.
Maybe. I haven't played it myself. I haven't tested it myself. As I said before, it's been quite a while since I've actually played the League myself, as in 3 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken, or 2 weeks ago. So yeah, I haven't really had the time and or pleasure to check out Gwen's jungling possibilities. We are loaded into the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and everything outside in between. Both teams found their way to the round of 16. KVM with a 3-0 in the group phase, 7am with a 2-1 in their group phase. Gonna be very cool to see what both teams are gonna be able to pull out of their sleeves or hats or other clothing materials for this round of 16.
I'll take over. It's gonna be super exciting. It's a best of 3, as you said, so no one-time lucky victories. You have to do it here. Make sure that you are the best team so they can go on tomorrow on Sunday to those quarterfinals. You want to be there, as they are playing it fairly safely here, keeping up the line of defense in the river. Don't want to have any sneaky invade, because of course there is potential when you have a Nautilus to do that, but 7M chooses for the safe approach.
7M is
I take it back.
going. I was just going to say, it's not going for a safe approach at all. They're going to go for a little bit of an invade. They have been spotted, of course, by that ward. They're going to be able to sweep this one as well. They find the hook onto Ezreal. They find the smackdown onto Nomis. Yumi swapping between champions.
So
Nautilus
far.
going low with the ignite. Needs to flash over. Now Obi's going low as well. This is not going the way KVM wanted this to go. They're still here, however. They're still here to take away the red buff, and Obi's able to steal it away. He makes level 2, steals away the red buff. Meanwhile, Elijah and Mortar in the top lane just not joining in on any of that, as Mortar does win that early trade, however.
Yeah, of course, if Elijah is not level 3, he does not have enough spells to stack his passive with, and Mortar with that attack speed boost on his dash is able to outtrade there. That invade though, Adam getting away by a hair. That ignite, one tick too little to get the kill there for KVM. And they steal the red buff away from Nomis, which is so huge to set Hecarim back that he can't do those ganks as early as he would like. So it was maybe not the cleanest play, but it was a win for 7M nonetheless.
7M, absolutely not the cleanest play we've seen from their side, but you know, they managed to make it work. They didn't lose any players in the fray. Nautilus did need to use his flash as the ignite was ticking. He needed 1, maybe 2 more auto attacks and he would have gone down. But managed to get out of that one, and as you said, taking away the red buff from Hecarim does put him behind quite a bit. He's level 2, Gwen's level 3, has that experience lead already.
Yeah.
Triple buffing the Hecarim.
Gwen is absolutely blasting through the jungle right now. I want to touch upon the Nautilus one more time in that invade. He's so strong early, just because he has that passive that he can proc on every single champion. It's a free stun, and there are almost no... I think he might be the only champion that can stun a whole team at level 1 with hitting them several times, not with one spell or anything. It's crazy how much CC that he has just inherently in that kit. See the trades keep going. Yeah, Elijah already winning those trades right now. Silas at level 1 was the option for Mortar to trade, but Elijah is taking over, but never underestimate this man's monkey. We've seen him do some crazy stuff in the past.
Never underestimate the power of the Scout's code.
No,
right?
No. Although I would like a Teemo game, it's not here. That might be for the 3rd game if it gets to that, but then they're gonna pull out Teemos, so fine. getting hit there on the bot lane for KVM again.
He will Tunk at 6. Oh, the Tunk monkey, the return.
The bonky monkey.
It's gonna be glorious once he is able to turn that up. If he is able to, of course. 7 AM has a small lead already. 7.3 versus 6.8k gold. 5-minute mark. They have a 500 gold lead here very early on. First Drake of the game, Mountain Drake. Not going to see that soul coming through, which isn't the worst because both teams not really all that tanky. So it would have been a small waste.
It can be scary though. Wukong fairly tanky for the amount of damage that he does, and the same goes for the Hecarim. And they have shields from the Yuumi, the Orianna. If you have that extra resistance and the shield from a Mountain Drake, or the resistance from Mountain Drake, that is very helpful. But looks like 7M is gonna be able to take this one uncontested. No Rift Herald on the map yet to trade.
Yeah, they just take that one really early on. We're not even at 6 minutes yet, and the first Drake of the game has already been taken down, which could mean that if they continue this trend, that we see a soul very early on at 24-ish minutes, 25, 23. Not really feeling the math right now, but anyways,
not
possibilities
really
are
it.
there.
Is that what you said your math teacher in primary school? Sorry, ma'am.
No.
I'm not feeling the math right now.
Not feeling the math right now. This is indeed a best of 3. Being asked in chat here, so yes, it is. Another slow-ish start to the game. Both junglers not really having had any impact yet, aside from the fact that Obi did steal away the red buff, and now Elijah going into the top lane. Obi is there for the gank as well. Cyclone number 1, Cyclone number 2 is going to be used as well. He finds the connection on the E. Is it going to be enough with the heal? Yes, sir, it is. Nomis is there. He's super low. He flashes out there, though. And Nomis, he's only level 4 versus the level 5 on Gwen. First blood over to Silas. Elijah picking that one up.
I get a feeling that 7am agreed this game we're gonna play until we have 1 HP. Adam got away so close to death in the invade, and now Elijah as well, not falling there. Mortar doing surprising amounts of damage, but that is of course what we said. If Wukong all-ins, he can get the best of Silas, but Silas wasn't alone. It was Obi on Gwen, right on time in that lane, and Nomis not being able to pick up that kill in return. This is it's a win for 7am in the top lane.
Definitely a win, bringing there a lead in gold to 1k. Of course, before they had 500, giving the first blood gold and some farm differences as well. Not really huge ones, but they're starting to creep up. Get it? Because creeps. Guys?
Anyway. No, we need to save the jokes for when it's a fiesta here.
Ah, yes. We will save them for later.
Bag him up. Ooh, we get some...
Lucian Orianna, by the way. Matchup that should be Lucian favored, but Orianna's actually doing really well here.
Lucian is known to be a very oppressive mid laner, being able to be that constant threat for the enemy, being able to dash in. But of course, Orianna trades fairly well into this matchup because she has the shield to negate some damage. She does a lot of damage back with auto attacks next to her spells because she has that passive, so not the worst lane to have into this Lucian. You can see it in the CS, it's just even and probably gonna pull ahead because there's still a wave to get here. But they are roaming towards the Rift Herald on the side of 7am, so they really want to pick it up, make sure that they can get those early plays for the gold lead.
Elijah really showing his presence here in the top lane. Mortar is going to have to show up a little later in the game with his flanks, with potential teleport plays. He went for the anti-heal first item, which is actually not a terrible idea against Silas, who already healed really much in the gank in the top lane. So the anti-heal coming out really soon.
Yeah, not only versus Silas, but you have a Gwen who will be healing from her passive as well. And the carries usually go some form of lifesteal as well, so anti-healing is a must this game. And probably a wise choice to go for something like the Ninja Tabis, because there is so much on-hit in that team as well, but we talked about it already. The on-hit defense items are all stacked with armor like the Bramble Vest and Ninja Tabis, and it feels a little bit double to buy them against a Sylas and a Gwen, who of course, okay, they do use their auto attacks to do damage, but they are AP, so it's not the full value that you get from that buy. So it's really annoying to build against these kind of champs.
It's a lot of mixed damage on Gwen. Or a lot of, not mixed damage, she just has the extra on-hit damage, which makes it a little bit annoying. Kind of like Yone with his half AD, half AP damage, which is... I still don't know why they made that the way it is.
I've sent countless letters, never got an answer. What a trade here, Elijah, showing who is boss with those chains. And that being said, the dragon is up, second dragon of the game, the Infernal. Is KVM Mechelen going to contest this one? Is 7am even gonna go for it?
It might. I mean, Hecarim is on the bottom side of the map, so he might be able to get his team towards the Drake as well. Ezreal, Yuumi having prio, of course, over Xayah alone. They're going to be at the Drake relatively fast as Obi does start this one off. It doesn't look like 7am is really moving towards it. However, now Orianna moving there as well. Hecarim finishing up his red buff. Should start moving there as well. Culling going to come out. Hank has to zigzag fancy footwork out of that. Culling managed to survive. That's a big old gun though.
It is gone, but they are able to take prio in that river once again. Meanwhile, I was thinking about the bot lane names, because we didn't really get an answer, and even if it's Bisco, I just kind of want to say Super Farther all the time, because I'm 12, and it's funny.
Yes, I will say Yuumi, but you can go ahead and say Super Farther, as 7am does pick up the second Drake of the game for themselves. And we are looking at an Ocean Soul this game, which once again gives those two previous Drakes a bit more extra value because of the strength of Ocean Drake, and you think you'd rather have it sooner than later.
Yeah, and DSR champs already heal so much. Okay, you're already building some anti-healing, so you have that covered sort of, but the healing is gonna be so much, especially in these extended fights. Usually you're not gonna burst a Sylas or a Gwen from 100 to 0 because they have enough tools in their kit to stretch those fights. The healing, they have the field that she is untargetable, so Ocean Soul is huge if they manage to pick it up, but we'll see once KVM decides to contest this stretch line. Just misses his left shoe there.
That was really close. True Shot Barrage is going to come through. Obi is there as well. Yuumi ult going to come through the last chapter. Is it going to be enough? So much damage on Adam. And yes, they do find it. Super farther. Giggity. Let's go. He finds the kill as Herald is going to be procced. Going to get one charge off here. Not going to be enough for the turret though. But that's a kill for KVM.
Super farther with the kill. Meanwhile, Nomis engages in the mid lane. Wow. And that is a dead Lucian. That was a pretty nice combo from KVM Mechelen there. It reminds me of the Ollie days when he was still playing the Hecarim. It was time and time again that knockback combo into his mid laner, and yeah, they say if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that was a really strong combination from them in the mid lane. They're really well put ult from the Hecarim, knockback, shockwave. And the Lucian had no time to even flash away from that one, while Obi is in the bottom looking for the gank snip flash heal. Needs to be used by Bot Kingdom. Even the exhaust came through. That is a lot of summoners used out of that one gank.
Yeah, you can see the damage from Gwen, it's continuous, and she can just keep slowing you with those needles. Every time she hits someone, she gets a refresh up to 3, and the last cast has so much damage on you, so oh, there it is. Novis might be in trouble here. He takes so much damage, and Obi, he never stops, and he gets the kill onto KVM Mechelen's jungler.
Gnome is in a lot of trouble. Obi being able to pick that one up for himself. Finds the double buff. Maybe already had double buff. Didn't really pay attention to that all too well. Is basing relatively dangerously. But Adamed protecting his fellow teammate to be able to base safely. And now Elijah in the top lane. Not going to go for the trade.
Spryo over Mortar. But that being said, Mortar has been able to keep up with the CS quite cleanly so far, so he's doing the best he can in that lane, and it's quite well seeing how those trades go in favor of Elijah. Mid lane, CS and bot lane also quite, actually all around, CS base is so close. It's only 1,000 gold difference for 7am, and that is because they did get some plates and a turret, of course, with the Herald.
So you have a small goal lead here. As Henk has finished his mythic, does have the Ludens all built up already. Lucian still needs to find the back he needs to get the mythic item of his choice, which should be on this recall right now. It's gonna be a Gale Force, so 2 Gale Forces on the side of Team 7am here to get out of those engages from KVM.
Yeah, and of course movement and mobility is so strong in a game like League of Legends. If you can get the right positioning, it's so hard to get caught and and chase someone down, like Elijah stealing the Wukong ult again and pushing it out, rotating towards mid lane, so they might want to look for an engager. Nope, he says, I'm coming back. It was a sneak.
It was indeed a sneak. Elijah going for the Zhonya's first item as well, so he's going to be pretty tanky, and also he's going to buy so much time, or be able to buy a lot of time at least, for his team to follow up on his engages once he gets into the middle of the KVM lineup. Next Drake is spawning in 12 seconds. Will KVM be able to take this one? Is 7am gonna contest?
They are definitely trying to get Prio here in the river. They do have the pink wards up. It is 7am that needs to take the vision back from them. They are pushing mid. The culling is coming out. Does not really do that much. And Elijah might be caught here.
Really needs to be careful not to overextend here. Yuumi ult is gonna come through. Is this the ultimate? This is the chain of ultimates. Yes, KVM finding the damage. Is it gonna be enough? They find 2. They're pretty low on their behalf, so they're gonna have to be careful right now not to go too far. They have the Yuumi. Look at Morty. Keeps going. Obi taking a little bit of damage there from Wukong. Not all too much. The combination of ults was there. They find 2 kills. They don't lose a single member themselves, and they find the swing. The game is back. The gold lead is equal.
The fight starts. Elijah being a little bit out of position there. Not ideal for 7am, and a great ultimate from Ezreal as well, hitting almost everyone, chunking them down. And yeah, when you do not get a fixed pick, if you are 7am at this point, if you can't kill someone immediately, they're gonna get a shield from Orianna, they're gonna get healed from Yuumi. It's so hard to come back from that, so they pick it up here. Eventually Elijah teleporting to the top lane to make sure that the 2 waves that were crashing there aren't lost, so they do pick that one up. But this might be a turning point for KVM in this game.
Really strong fight by them. For a second there, I thought they were gonna overextend the engage, get caught themselves not being able to pick up any kills, but they do find 2 for 0 eventually. 7am getting caught out there, maybe a bit by surprise. Of course, the culling was down already. Gnome is finding a good ultimate there, and of course, super farther, Lil, finding a great final chapter there onto, I think, 3 people. Doing quite a lot of damage there as well.
Yuumi is so strong if you can pair him with a carry, and carries are plenty in the comp for KVM Mechelen. They are hovering to over this river, but it looks like they're not gonna contest heavily for this grab. It's not the most important objective on the rift. Debatable, but still, there is a bigger grab in the Baron Pit. The Herald is being started by 7am, and KVM Mechelen, they do know, but I don't think they are going to do anything about it.
No, it looks like this Herald is just gonna go to 7 AM. They know the entire team is basically there. KVM leaves it for what it is. Second Herald of the game going towards 7 AM as well. The first one was popped in bottom lane. That turret has been taken down already. And now with the jungler in the top lane, they might instantly pop it there as well. Although it does look like... Never mind. I was gonna say Gwen is gonna run back into the river, but she's staying in the top lane. And I lied again. She's out.
She's out. Also, by the way, if you hear a small meow in the background, that is my cat who wants food. But we can pretend it's a Yumi cosplay, so these are extra sound effects for the game.
Yes.
So, if you hear that, you say, oh, it's Yumi, it's super farter in real life.
Super farter IRL, which your cat could be compared to, maybe.
I know. It could may be, and they are kind of resetting on the map as a whole right now, splitting again, pushing the waves in. Next objective probably gonna be the Drake, where they will fight over. I don't think any of these teams is confident enough to start or bait the Baron at this point of the game. And if we make a recap, who is the player to watch this game if we look at it so far, Bojack?
So far I feel like Obi has been putting quite a lot of pressure down on the map. On the side of 7 AM, together with Elijah, who's been playing the top lane really well so far. However, if we then look at Mortar, he's basically equal with the Elijah, so he played that really well as well. Up till now, I feel like Nomis and Henk are gonna be a combination to watch out for, and if Super Farter and Bot Kingdom can pile onto that, it's gonna be dangerous for 7 AM.
KVM going around the mid lane. Yumi just sitting on Nomi's back, no problem at all. This horse is not gonna die with Yumi on top. It's so strong in the mid game, especially when he gets a little bit into the game. Of course, had a rough start, being his red buff stolen by 7 AM, but he got there. He got where he needs to be. Herald is being popped down here. They're gonna break open that mid lane and giving them some more space to move. But yeah, a few hits in, not enough. They're going in for Gwen.
A lot of people in the mid lane. They're gonna go hard onto Gwen. Obi, is he gonna get focused down? No, yes, he does eventually go down. It is a 1-for-1 as Hank picks that one up, and now Bot Kingdom needs to be careful. Of course, he has that Yumi on him. He has the kill as well onto Nautilus. Hank is actually out of that one. The kill Evolution is gonna be enough to pick up a kill as Mortar on the other side of the map picks up Sono. Now Elijah and Flyknit need to get out of this one. Elijah gonna get poked down a little bit more with the Mystic Shot, with Yumi's Q. Mortar is there as well. And now Elijah running away. He has those heals, of course. Needs to dash out of this one. Are they going to continue the chase? They have Yumi. They have the movement speed, as Ezreal needs one more auto attack. Is going to be enough. No, Flash for Flash. 1 HP. He missed a Mystic Shot. It's going to be enough for him to get away. And now they're pinging the Dragon. Number 2 for KVM. Will they be able to pick this up? Is it going to be contested by 7 AM?
It's crazy that Elijah lives there. I would have never thought he can get away from Ezreal. Yumi gets the flash as well, but the Drake is not gonna be able. However, the Culling coming in, being blocked, and it is Bot Kingdom picking it up. Can they fight here?
Mortar needs to go in. He had nothing to get out of that one anymore. Now Nomis is there as well, trying to save his top laner's butt, but it's not gonna be enough. Great shockwave there. No! The hook from Alamed says, no. I don't care if my team is there or not. I'm gonna hook you back in. My team's gonna follow up on this one. Shockwave is not up anymore, of course. Otherwise, that would have been a great position to do it. But what a shockwave from Heng, trying to save his jungler. Don't know what Nomis was gonna try and do there, regardless. But it is Drake number 2 for KVM.
These are crazy extended fights over this objective. KVM making a picks of the Drake, but there are 2 people down, and 7 AM is rotating towards this Baron. It is 24 minutes on the dot, and they're starting it off. There is no jungler available. Is this something that KVM can even contest at this point?
I think they can contest it, but I'm not sure if they're 100% sure that they're doing it. Now they are starting to know 1 or 2 things about this Baron.
It's for the game.
Gonna be insane. Shockwave is still not up. The hook from Alamed lands. True shot come through. Final chapter. It's gonna be a flip. It's it's gonna be 7 a.m. picking up the Baron buff here. Sono is gonna be in between a rock and a hard place. That's a double kill for Ezreal. 3-0 and 4. 2 kills for KVM, but 7 a.m. does manage to pick up the Baron at 24 minutes into this game. Is it gonna be enough for them to turn this game completely into their favor? Because right now, it's very, very even.
They get the buffs, but they lose 2 people in the process. Eventually, if you look at it, they did kill 2 people from KVM, so you can see it as a trade, but this game is so close. There is a 2k gold difference in favor of 7 a.m, but you would not feel like any of these 2 teams is stronger. It really depends on the engage. Elijah steals the ultimate from Super Farter there, has the Yumi ult to...
Classic.
Has the Yumi ult on the go right now, so there is engage potential galore for 7 a.m. while that is up. They'll have to see how it goes. I feel this is yet another game where the team that finds the engage first is more likely to win. But it is still really hard for 7 a.m. because if they find a pick, they really need to finish it fast, just because of the utility that is in KVM's comp.
It's so scary fighting against this KVM, in my opinion, when that shockwave is up. At the Baron, it wasn't up yet. That makes the fight completely different. They lose, I'm gonna exaggerate here, but they lose like 50% of their team fight because the shockwave is down. And it gives so much more room for 7 a.m. to move around in those team fights. Once that's up again, it's so much more difficult. You have to keep track of where that ball is basically all the time, which everybody at some point forgets, and suddenly you're stuck in a shockwave.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of Orianna today, which is fantastic, because it's such an old champion that still does what she has to do without having to get many reworks or anything. And it's always satisfying to see a huge shockwave in a team fight. So getting 3 or 4 people, even 5, is amazing, and Nomis is looking for it. However, Elijah farting out the Yumi ult.
Wow, the Mystic shot on Sonar basically does half HP almost. Ezreal at this point 3-0 and 4. Divine Thunder complete. Manamune is there. He has the tankiness from the Ninja Times as well. Double longsword. He's super strong at this point. Gonna have to be careful of this Ezreal and the shockwave. Both carries on the side of KVM very much online. On the other side, however, you have Elijah 2-0 and 2. Obi 3-1 and 1 on this Snip champion. It's as we said, extremely close this game. 2 Drakes on each side as well.
I like that you touch on the Gwen as well, because when you look at the build, went for the Demonic Embrace second item, which is not something I usually see on the Gwen. Usually they go the Riftmaker into the Nashor's Tooth, but I feel like Obi wants to be more tanky, because he knows he has to eat that initial engage from KVM Mechelen, and if he can sustain it and heal through, then you can return the damage. So we'll see how this goes. I would like to see some more anti-healing on the side of 7 a.m. though, because you are playing against the Yumi.
Yeah, I would have liked an Oblivion Orb on the Orianna, for example. It does so much work on Orianna because of the AoE she brings. Every time the ball moves through you, it doesn't need to land on you, it just needs to move through you. It does damage and it applies the anti-heal instantly. The same with the shield once it comes back. The distortion, the shockwave. There's so much AoE and there's so much value to go for an Oblivion Orb here. But apparently they decide not to do that, as KVM is going to start this Drake. Number 3 for both teams. Fight is going to be breaking loose. This Onslaught of Shadows has been stolen. Cyclone is insane. The Shockwave is more insane as they find an instant double kill. Gwen is alive. Obi's going to do a lot of damage. Mordor needs to flash out of this, but with the Sterex shield, he's going to be able to stay alive. Stopwatch is going to come through for Obi. He's going to do so much damage. Finds the kill eventually. It is a double kill, however, for Ezreal as he finds Lucian off screen. It's a shutdown for Wukong as well. KVM loses too. 7 a.m. loses their entire team. Drake number 3 is for KVM as well. They're on Soul Point and now 14-8. But the gold is still dead even.
Crazy team fight, and KVM Mechelen, they do find their wombo combo on the right targets. And eventually it's just Bot Kingdom and Mortar who clean everything up, and it was beautifully executed. you do see that 7am retaliates in that fight. It's not a clean ace. They are able to pick up some members and they do not melt immediately. But the damage was there with the initial engage and they do not have enough to recover from it. So they lose this Drake. That means that KVM Mechelen is now on sole point. In 5 minutes that is gonna be, I'm not gonna say a game deciding fight, but it is not far off of that. So it's gonna be super close. 7am needs to make sure that they are the ones engaging for the next play, because else this game will not be going in their favor.
Yeah, this was an engage eventually by KVM. Henk finding a two-man shockwave. Really, so much damage from Oriana here in this fight, blowing up basically two champions at the same time. And yeah, that broke the fight wide open. Gwen, however, doing so much work in those team fights as well. And is able to pick up one at the end. He's not able to survive, however, but you know, if you can pick up one, take one with you to the grave, always better than nothing. But as you said, KVM now on soul point, gonna be dangerous for 7am if they have to give away or lose the next Drake as well.
Feels like there is.
I mean, that's 4 Ocean Drakes.
It's an insane amount of healing on the side of KVM Mechelen, but the engage is there from 7am this time.
Looks like a disengage from KVM. No, there's the teleport, there's a Cyclone. Is it going to be enough? They need the Shockwave. It's not there yet. Mortar's going to go low. Second Cyclone is going to come through, but the Cyclone gets stolen. Shockwave whiffs, hits nobody. They need to disengage. Is it going to be enough? It looks like they are going to disengage. No, it's 7am disengaging. So much damage on Adamed. He's going to go down. Featherstorm needs to use by Sono. He is able to maybe lock 1 or 2 in place, but he goes down. There's too much damage on him. And now it looks like KVM is going to go for this Baron after they find 3 kills and lose 0 again.
And that was with a missed shockwave.
They did 0.
I mean, if Henk doesn't hit a shockwave and they still win, I mean, dominantly like this in a team fight, and what can 7am do here? It is the Baron being picked up by KVM Mechelen on all 5 members after this convincing team fight. They're gonna push down the lanes, take the turrets, take the gold, and then rotate back for the Ocean Soul. As we get a little pause, because of course, what would an open tour be without a little pause?
Of course, we have a little pause there, as KVM has taken the Baron buff, has taken the We Are Winning buff as well. 55.2k, 52.4k. A small goal lead here for KVM. And as you said, if they can't win with a missed shockwave, it's going to be difficult for 7am. These fights from KVM are really clean. Great teleport there by Mortar, jumping in with the Cyclone as well. The missed shockwave, too bad, but it didn't matter. And as we said in the beginning of the game, KVM drafted, in my opinion at least, an easier comp. And we see them executing their comp really well in these team fights because it's just simpler. Press R, engage, follow up with everything we have. And
it is generally known that an AoE team fight press R comp is an easy road to victory. You know, it's hard. It's not hard to execute. If you hit an ability, everyone will hit the ability, and then you have the kills. 7am did pick the outplay comp, where they do need to juke those abilities. They have the Gale Forces for it. They have the Xayah ult who can do it. So the possibility to win is there, but they have to execute it. And for now, they are not in the right position in those fights to do it. They find an engage on Nomis there in the river with the Nautilus ult, with the depth charge. But he just runs back, and once it hits, he's out of harm's way, and he can just re-engage because they use their click on hard CC. I mean, Bot Kingdom did ouch him, if it's him, because we still haven't got a confirmation. He's 6-0 and 8 on the Ezreal here, untouched all game long. He can just do what he wants, because they can't deal with the front line, and they sure as hell don't need to think about getting to the back line, because there's no way. He can always clean up the fight.
yeah, at this point, 6-0 and 8, as you said, on the Ezreal. 1-0 and 14 on the Yuumi. This bottom lane from KVM showing up big time today. Whereas the bottom lane of 7am this game, struggling to find what they need to find. It's 0-4-3 on the Xayah, 0-6-6 on the Nautilus. They're not finding what they need. However, at this point, Xayah does have 3 items. The Gale Force is there, the Essence Reaver is there, and of course Lord Dominic's Regard is there as well. I'm not sure if Lord Dominic's was the best buy here in this game. There's not that much armor yet, at least, and I don't think there's going to be a boatload of armor regardless on the side of KVM. So maybe another Zeal item, another attack speed item, another crit item.
There is some armor. You have the GA on the Wukong, you have the Nia Tabis and the Clot armors on Hecarim, and the Sonya on Orianna is not to be underestimated, together with the resistances that she gets from the ball. So I do get the buy. It's also just a fairly...
Wukong passive, I guess, is one as well.
Yeah, it's a fairly good no-brainer to buy on AD carry if you're not sure where you need to go. Then the Dominic's is, at the moment, a good choice, a good solid second item. But you see Sono struggle in these fights so hard. Mortar is really looking for him. He's running for his life half the time in the team fight, and he doesn't really get the chance to do what he has to do. Because yeah, how can you do it? You want to auto-attack, but there is the Hecarim ult first. You basically have to ult that, and then the Wukong goes for you. You don't really have the tools to escape. You have a Gale Force and a Flash, but yeah, Wukong also has a dash, also has a Flash, and he's a speedy boy, so he's gonna come for you. So really hard game for an AD carry here.
Yeah, it's a very hard game for Sono at this point. Alamed not being able to peel it for his carry, is not tanky enough to tank it either for his carry, so he needs to give his life, of course, for his AD carry, but you know, if it's not going to be enough or if you die too soon, then eventually it doesn't really matter all that much. You're going to buy a couple seconds tops for your AD carry. Although against this Wukong, do you really buy time? I mean, do you really buy time?
Philosophical question, do you really have time against the Monkey Bonky?
Against the Tunk Monkey Bonky?
Against the Tunker. And, I mean, we gotta give props to Mortar yet again. I mean, we've seen him play a whole split last time. He was so good on the Wukong. And he struggled in the early game, in the laning phase, actually, all the time, with the trades against Elijah. But he never fell behind in CS. And he's 6-2 and 8 now, so you need to ban it. And we said it in the draft already. Ban this guy's Wukong. I feel like 7 AM they will have done their research against KVM Academy, but they might not have shown enough respect towards Mortar to ban that champion out. That being said, we are back on the Rift.
Are going to be back onto the Rift. However, the game has just completely frozen in my screen.
I see it as well. I just switched screen and it stopped, so was it me?
It wasn't you. I have no idea if the game is actually continuing or not.
I'm gonna go back to our mediocrely beautiful faces and
we're back. No, we're not back. I lied.
Super Farter has left the game again, so there is something going wrong there with the support for KVM Mechelen. What?
7 AM. They said sorry for the pause, then the game started again. Then they instantly paused and Adam and said, bamboozled.
Well, they are mind gaming them in the pause screen at least, so
at least that's the thing.
And yeah, this is actually quite a funny throwback for those who watched KVM Mechelen Academy's previous split. There was a game where they also had some trouble with Bisco's internet, and they had a pause for 15 to 20 minutes, and it was back, but the rules of Open Tour say that you can have a pause of 10 minutes max or something like that, and eventually...
They got DQ'd from the game.
Yeah, eventually Frey had to step in the remake and play support for KVM Mechelen, so the manager had to play, and
which, by the way, she did pretty well.
She did commendably, but you know, I believe she's gold 1 or something like that. You know, it doesn't even matter if you're a gold or platinum. If you have to play against masters, you might as well be iron because you're not gonna win, and that was what happened. So I hope that this is not the throwback for KV Mechelen to that moment that they have to remake this game and let their manager play, because as it looks now, this should be a win for them. But of course, we don't know what's gonna happen. So we'll see where it takes us. But of course, we hope that this game can just continue in the fair way that it has been going. And yeah, Super Farter, fix your internet, man. Or whatever is going on.
Fix your internet, fix your FPS issues. Of course, that's what he's trying to do right now. And yeah, they did pause the game for too long. And then the other game, I think it was Starland. I'm not 100% sure. Who then said, "You've paused for too long, so we're allowed to take the win now without playing," and they did. The other team doesn't have to, though, by the way. I think they can just say it doesn't matter, we can just continue.
Yeah.
I think if it takes too long, then maybe the organization will come in and say, "Guys, we really need to continue with the next games because otherwise we're going to be waiting for way too long and we'll still be playing tomorrow at noon." So
yeah, that's the thing. You have a schedule, and this is the big difference with playing on, you know, the big screen. Like the teams of LEC, they're playing at the stage. They have their computers there. Everyone is playing from home for these games. So not everyone has the same setup, and which is logic that it sometimes is that you gotta work with the thing that you have. Not everyone buys or has great internet where they are. So yeah, let's just hope it gets fixed soon. That being said, we have this game in front of us where we see a great early game from 7am, beautiful invades being made, but then the game is being taken by KV Mechelen, and we did see that turning point, that fight where it kind of went south for them.
Yeah, it started going south once the real, like, full-on team fights started happening, where 7M wasn't completely able to find the picks they wanted to find. Once again, KVM has a much easier composition to actually execute what they will have to do. Engage, press R, pile everything we have on top of that. 7M is much more difficult. Yes, they can fight well in team fights because of the Xayah, because of the Lucian with some repositioning possibilities. Elijah is able to jump into the middle of everything basically and start healing Everfrost, Zhonya's, buy time, etc. Gwen needs to kind of like dance around. It's just a very more chaotic and much more difficult play style. And at this point, KVM is just executing better.
Yeah, and it's executing better, but it's of course also a little bit in the draft. So we've seen some good drafts from Vinny already so far today. And he is doing more than the obviously easy, because we've seen multiple wombo combo combs, and 7M is not really going all in on that style. However, they did play a few, and now it was a little bit more of a daring comp where they really want to show the individual outplays when you see these champions that are possible. But it does not always work, and especially not against a team like KV Mechelen Academy that has some players who have a decent amount of experience on the pro scene, let's say. So yeah, maybe this was a little bit too optimistic to go for this draft. But if you do, don't go for those big team fights early on, because it's hard for your comp to do what it has to do.
Yeah, it's a much more difficult comp to pull out. And once again, just to touch back on it, the Wukong ban would have been
A must.
top notch. They banned Braum in the end, which fits into the comp as well. Must agree, of course, with the Glacial Fissure. It's going to be really strong as well. But Ezreal can pair with a lot more supports, for example, the Yuumi. And at that point, it was so clear to me that Wukong really fit perfectly into the comp that KVM was drafting. And because Mortar is such a good Wukong player, I thought it was really scary to leave it open, and apparently it was as well. Maybe 7 a.m. will change some stuff around and take it away.
That's the thing. Often you have a champion, and when you see it on paper, you say, okay, we can play against this. We know what Wukong does. We know his strengths. We can play against it. But if you have someone that is so comfortable on this champion, and it's with any champion, you can say this champion is weak at this point in the meta, this one is very strong. But if you have someone that is super comfortable on a champion, just ban it. I know you only have a few bans, but sometimes you just need to take the L and ban it, because there is just too much value. It reminds me also of the games that we cast for Chile Mountains in the 3rd division last time around in Germany, where you had Biotic on a Zillion main. Never see Zillion in any games, but he has 400 ranked games on it this season alone. I mean, 3 months ago or something, and they didn't ban it, and they got absolutely destroyed by it. So doesn't matter what champ it is, if you're comfortable, take it into account for the prep.
It's important, of course. Yeah, Braum is really strong with Ezreal as well, so it was kind of a interesting situation for 7 a.m. I guess. Maybe they learned from it. Maybe they had a plan with Wukong as well, and it just didn't work out as well as they thought.
Yeah, you must expect a Wukong, right? If you.
That's what I meant exactly. So maybe they did have a plan. Maybe it's not working out as well as they thought. Maybe Mortar's a better Wukong than they anticipated. Who knows? Elijah did, however, do really well in the laning phase. He was able to bully Mortar's Wukong quite a lot. Wasn't really able to get out of it as much as he maybe would have wanted. Mortar played that really safely, played really far back, just let Elijah do whatever he wanted to do. And apparently he came out on top eventually. Another thing I want to touch on here. We have 3 Divine Sunderers on the side of KVM. Wukong, Hecarim, and Ezreal all went for Divine Sunderer. Maybe Riot overtuned the item.
Yeah, especially since there aren't any mega tanks or anything. You should buy it against tanks, but since it has health, it just makes you tankier. You can say, okay, I want the Sheen, I want to be tanky. Divine Sunderer. I believe at the start of the season, Ezreal's sometimes even bought the Titanic Hydra to pop it off and just go this crazy tanky Ezreal build that he's already so slippery, and if you caught him, you couldn't kill him. That's so incredibly annoying. They did differ from that a little bit now. However, I do see the Glacial Shroud there in his build, so not sure what he is going to do with that.
And it does look like the Yuumi has reconnected. We'll see if they're able to continue the game completely. Otherwise, we might have some issues for the next games as well. Maybe his PC is just completely overheating.
Could be. Could be that Ezreal is buying a Frozen Heart here with the Glacial Shroud.
Ooh.
It is actually a really smart defensive buy. That being said, we are back in the game. I don't want to yell too loud because it's already crashed again.
Frozen. It's frozen.
I wanted to flip the screen, but I'm gonna have to disappoint you guys. It's not.
I want to flip the table.
I want to flip.
I want to flip the table.
Where's Frey? Put her on the spot.
Put her down here, boys. Put her down. 6-0 and 8 Ezreal, 1-0 and 14 Yuumi. It looks like the game now has once again started. The client is allowing us to continue spectating.
See if it stays stable, but you might be right. There. Nope, that's not the one. That's the one. We're back in business. The game continues. KV Mechelen Academy versus 7 a.m. Academy. Favored for KV Mechelen at this point. You all know how it's going, and yeah. Can they clean it out? Because of course I'm not gonna go down without a fight.
They are not gonna go down without a fight. Of course they're not gonna go down without a fight. Yuumi is back. The FPS should be fine. 7am is ready to continue this battle. Of course, being paused for so long, both teams might be a little out of their schwung, or whatever you want to call it.
Mojo might be gone.
The mojo might be gone, so it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to actually completely turn this back around. 50 seconds left on the dot for the next dragon of the game. That would mean Cloud Soul for KVM if they manage to pull it off, if they manage to take the dragon. Will KVM be able to win a fight? Will they be able to take away this dragon and put themselves on soul point? It's gonna be very, very important for them.
They are hovering here in the brush on the mid lane. However, I do not know why KVM Mechelen would check it there. They do not really need to be there. They are searching for an engage themselves, of course. The Yuumi on the Wukong. If the slow hits, he can get onto his target so easily, and they are looking to fight. If 7am loses here, if they lose cleanly, the game is over. They can just run through the base with Baron, but instead they are gonna look for the soul. Let 7am come to us.
7am needs to do something here. They're already started. It's already at half HP. It's already down. It's
so
over.
fast.
That's the soul for KVM. And they say, guys, we have the soul. We don't need to fight here and throw the game away. We have a pushing wave in the top lane. We have mid lane and in the bottom lane. Sorry, we have mid and top that are basically reset the lanes. We don't have to do anything crazy here. We can just, with Baron buff, with Ocean buff, push into the base of 7am.
Is trying to cull out of the wave, but of course the Baron of minions is too strong, is not able to clear it, and they lose the inhibitor. They know that they cannot win the fight here, but of course, what are your options at this point? You always have the desperation steal on the Elder if the game is gonna last another 5 minutes, of course. And then you need to be there for the dragon. It is like the only scenario.
This is clearly a Vinny drafted for Elder Drake scenario.
Right. Could be. This could
be
one huge mind game.
This is one huge mind game. No, you can have it. We do not care. We will just take the Elder Drake. Of course, KVM is not going to let that happen for free. Also, Shriril's grudge on Ezreal, which is kind of the Cyrilda's grudge. Cyrilda's grudge, I guess. Cyrilda's grudge on Ezreal, which kind of acts as a substitute for the Frozen Fist that Ezreal used to build.
Yeah, but it's better because it has armor pen, I believe.
Yeah, and it does have armor pen, but of course it costs a boatload of gold, and the sheen isn't in the slowing item.
It costs a boatload and it does a schmickaload of damage, so it's all good for him. He also bought the Frozen Heart as expected, so it's really tanky and good against those attack speed heavy champions that 7am has tech. I'm not sure who is even gonna touch Ezreal this game. We've said it before, he's so hard to get to, and the threats are plenty in KVM Mechelen's comp. They're hiding here in the brush. They might want to search for an engage. However, it is only 3 people of KVM Mechelen here. 7am looking for it.
Oh, they find the shockwave. It's going to do so much damage. Eliza's going to go into the backline. He's going to heal. He's going to Zonya's. And now Nomis needs to get out of this one. A lot of damage is going to come through here. However, Yuumi is not there yet. Hank finds one. Are they going to find more? Mortar is in the backline. Finds one. They find a second one as well. Look at the damage from Obi, however, as he finds the kill onto Hecarim. It's a double kill for Hank eventually. Now Flyknit and Obi need to make
Look at the healing!
Oh my god, the healing from the Ocean Soul is ridiculous. Obi finds the I'm invulnerable thing, and Mortar says, nah, I'm not gonna flash after that. I just used my dash. And another one fight for KVM. Super chaotic. And just really quickly gonna touch on the chat saying, yes, I do mean Iceborne Gauntlet, but I think if you typed in the shop Frozen Fist that you could find Iceborne Gauntlet, or at least that's how I did it.
Anyway, I really love the engage from 7am here. It was a good call. They did see Mortar and Super Farter in the top lane. They were split from the team, so they did find it, but the teleport came in, and 7am, they overstayed their welcome. They should have backed after the picks. And eventually it was just a cleanup, because how are you going to kill someone that has a Yuumi on him, an Ocean Soul, when the Yeah,
So heals more than the Yumi.
how can you kill it? It's so hard. I mean, they tried, but they should have backed out earlier.
Yeah, maybe they should have backed out earlier, as Baron is being taken down right now by KVM. 7am is running towards their 5k on this Baron, but 4k, 3k, 2k. It's almost going to be down. They are going to take it as Obi jumps in, tries to find a steal. Not going to be able to do that, however. He's just a tad too late, and Baron is for them, and another kill for the 7-1 and 9 Ezreal.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a desperation play that had to be made by Obi at this point, because you know if they have the Baron, they're gonna end the game. I don't think they are going to wait 1.5 minutes for that Elder. They are looking to end it here right now. This KVM looking so strong at the moment. Planet trying to clear, but we've seen it before, not enough to do it. And are they going to end it here, or are they going to rotate? I think KVM Academy had enough.
I think they've had enough as well. It's going to be the last stand for 7am. If they manage to win this, they will extend the game, but will they be able to do it? Mortar goes to half HP, finds the backline once again with Cyclone. Onslaught of Shadows going to come through. Onslaught of Shadows number 2, of course, with Silas going to come through as well. So much damage all across the board as Mortar is dominating. 2 guys on the side of 7am are down already, and it looks like the game froze, which should mean that the game is over. And unless KVM surrendered, I'm assuming they won game 1.
or if Super Farter disconnected again. could happen. But yeah, it is KV Mechelen who is able to take the first game in this best of 3 in the round 16. And it was quite convincingly as well. From some point, it was just all in KV Mechelen's favor.
In the beginning, it looked pretty okay for 7am. Top lane was doing well. They were making some decent progression. They had the small gold lead of 500 in the beginning. They extended it to 1,000. They had the first 2 dragons of the game. I think they picked up a herald as well. I can't remember. So they were doing okay, but then at some point, the team fights from KVM were just too strong. They executed it really well. Some great shockwaves by Henk. Ezreal was on point as well. And of course, Super Farter. He was there as well.
He farted on them.
Actually, the moment where they had the team fight in the Baron side of the river, and the shockwave whiffed, and they were still able to turn the fight around. At that point, I thought, but this is going to be hard for 7am.
Yeah, that was a clear red flag that this game is gonna be a doozy. I think a lot of things will change in the draft. Vinny has taken notes. Second game is gonna be a lot different.